Hi guys, it's Mrs. Boone here, and today we are starting Unit 9, and Unit 9 is all about 3D shapes, and today's lesson is going to be on identifying nets of 3D solids. So before we dive into the nets, we need to know a few definitions. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So 3D solids are shapes with 3 dimensions that take up space. They have depth. These dimensions are length, width, and height. They're also called polyhedrons. Okay, today we're going to be identifying 3D shapes by their nets. And the net is a pattern you can cut and fold to make a model of a solid. Think of it as a flattened 3D shape, okay? You can just put together. So the first types of solids we're gonna look at are prisms. And there are a few characteristics of prisms that I need you to remember. And they are, prisms have 2 parallel faces called bases. The other faces are always parallelograms, and the prism is named by the shape of its base. Okay, so I'm hoping you printed out the nets that were posted on PDF and cut them out and were able to glue them into your notes. If not, you can simply draw and copy everything else down. So let's take a look. I'm gonna zoom in just a tiny, zoom out a little bit so we can see the entire shape. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a rectangular prism. This is a 3D shape, and we are going to figure out different characteristics that this particular shape has. So it has 6 faces, so I'm going to use 6 faces. Okay, and they are, let's do this one. They are rectangles and squares. So okay, and it has 8 vertices. And vertices are corners, right? Little corners right here, as I outlined. So vertices are basically where 2 edges meet, okay? And the edges, let's see, how many edges do we have? We have 12 edges on this, and the edge, I'm going to highlight what the edge is. This is the edge, right? This is the edge. The edge is where the line of its where 2 surfaces meet, okay, or 2 faces meet. So we have 12 of these. Let's see. I've actually put a couple of different nets for the rectangular prisms. Again, we can have more than one net for each shape. And really quickly, let's do a 3D sketch on this. So if you draw a rectangle, okay, what you're going to do is then you are going to draw 1, 2, and 3 parallel lines. And you're going to connect these 2, and then you're going to connect this. Oops, I did this a little bit too long. So 1, 2, and 3, and then connect vertically, connect parallel to this to this edge. And here we see a rectangular prism. We do not see the depth of it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a look and drop in another parallel line, and parallel line goes this way and then right here. So now you can see the depth of it. You can see the sides, okay? So if you take a look at this net, if you look at this net, and then basically think of it as these two corners fold in or up, right? We're gonna fold this corner up, and then kind of go 1 and 2 folded in, and then connect them all, and that will create this 3D shape. Okay, so remember, in the rectangular prism, opposite faces are always the same size. So I'm going to highlight some opposite faces so we can see that this is the opposite faces right here. I'm going to use another color. We're going to see these opposite faces. These are going to be opposite of each other. Notice they're the same size. They're the same size, and this is also, these two are also the same. Okay, so this is our rectangular prism. Now we're going to move on to this shape, and we call it a cube. And a cube is a very special solid because every face has the same size in the cube, and every edge is the same length. Okay, so really quickly, just to kind of remember, cubes have six faces that are squares. Okay, the same size. Every side has the same length. It has 8 vertices or corners. It has 12 edges. And let's do a 3D sketch. So we have first draw a square and then do 1, 2, and 3 diagonals. We're going to connect to this one and this one. And then we're going to drop down kind of dotted lines and create that depth. Okay? So again, think of these two sides folding up. And then this one is also going to fold up. And then this one is going to fold and then fold again. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, in a 3D solid, the side that the shape is sitting on is called a base. Usually, again, they have 2 bases, and opposite sides can be bases. So this bottom is a base, so that means this is also a base. Now, sides that are around the shape, so if you're looking this way like this, right, they're called lateral faces. So there's going to be 2 bases and 4 faces. In total, there are 6 faces. Okay, I've listed an example of different nets for the cubes. Again, it's not just one net. We can actually fold and cut them differently. So take a look at these examples. So moving on to the next one, and that is a triangular prism. Now, prisms are very special because prisms, and only prisms, well, not only, but prisms have 2 bases. In the triangular prism, the bases are always triangles. So how would I distinguish, okay, what kind of shape is that? We are looking for 2 bases that are parallel, 2 sides that are parallel to each other, okay? So we're noticing I'm seeing 2 triangles, and I'm going to highlight them. I'm seeing 2 triangles, and they're parallel to each other. So right away, I know that these 2 sides are the same, 2 faces are the same, so this is a prism. Okay, so really quickly, triangular prisms have 5 faces. And these 5 faces are, we have 2 triangles, and then the other ones are 3 rectangles. Okay, 3 rectangles or squares. Okay, so 5 faces. How many vertices can we count? We can count 6 vertices, and we can count 12 edges. 12 edges. Let's quickly sketch this. So you can draw two similar triangles, two triangles that are the same. And I'm going to connect the top vertex of the triangles and the bottom right vertex. Notice now we have the triangular prism. However, we don't see the depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the bottom left vertex with the other triangle's bottom left vertex. And now you can see that this is a triangular prism. Again, I'm going to highlight the bases of the triangular prism. Notice how they are parallel to each other. They're parallel to each other, meaning the same distance from each other. And this is our triangular prism. This is our triangular prism. So again, they can be maybe, let's see, yeah, that's about it. So triangular prisms, don't confuse them with other shapes. Again, for prisms, we're looking for two faces that are parallel to each other. Two faces. Okay. What is she talking about? You're probably thinking, do we have anything else? Well, yes, we do. We have, and I'm looking for my shape here. I'm looking for my words. Here we go. We have pyramids, and you should be pretty familiar with pyramids, right? Because in 6th grade, I think you study that. So pyramids are 3D solids or polyhedrons that have a base, which is a polygon, meaning a rectangle, a square, and a triangle, and 3 or more faces, depending on what base is, that are triangles. The triangular faces meet at a point called apex, or basically we call it like the tallest vertex. And triangular sides are called the lateral faces. In this case, lateral faces, excuse me. So this is a face, right? Lateral faces. And think of it as faces around the base, or around all the sides around the 3D shape. Okay, so this is a pyramid, and the first thing I see a square or a rectangle, and I see 4 triangles. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a pyramid, or we call it a rectangular pyramid, right? Because remember, bases are identifying the names for our 3D solids, 3D shapes. So since it's a rectangle, it's going to be a rectangular pyramid. And how do I know it's a pyramid? Well, because I only have 1 rectangle and 4 triangles. That's why it's going to be a pyramid. Remember, in pyramids, we don't have sides that are parallel to each other. Okay, we have 1 base and 4 or 3 sides depending on the base. So I'm going to zoom in just a tiny bit. And really quickly, we have how many edges? We have 8 edges. We have 5 vertices. We have 5 vertices, right? A 1 at the top right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 around the base. And then 3D sketch, notice we have to do like a parallelogram, 1 vertex at the top right here, and then connect that vertex with every single corner of the parallelogram, and that would be your rectangular pyramid. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that we have 5 faces, 5 total faces, and then we have 1 of them that is going to be square rectangle, and then 4 triangular faces. Okay? Now, just really quickly, I'm going to show you again, how would we draw something like that? Again, a parallelogram I've drawn, and then we're going to take a vertex, and we're going to connect every single corner of the parallelogram with my top vertex. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. So ladies and gentlemen, again, my base, this is my base, and that's a rectangle or a square. And that's why we call it rectangular pyramid. Okay, that's why we call it rectangular pyramid. Now remember, faces of pyramids are always triangles. Again, faces of pyramids are always triangles. Moving on to our last shape, and this is a nice looking triangular pyramid. Notice it doesn't have any rectangles in it. It's a pyramid because it has more 3 triangles, and the base is also a triangle. So 4 triangles total. And I'm showing you different other 2 nets that you can see that will represent triangular pyramid. So we have the base, and I'm going to highlight in my sketch, we have a base right here. That's a triangle. And then we have 3 lateral faces, okay? So total number of faces is 4, and they're all triangles. And then we have 4 vertices, and we have 6 edges. Okay, I forgot to put that in. So again, I'm going to show you how to draw this. At the top, I created a triangle and a vertex, and now I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to connect each vertex of the triangle with my top vertex. Notice that. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to highlight my base, and that's why it's only 1 base and the rest are faces, and that's why it's a pyramid, because there's no 2 sides that are parallel to each other. So again, basically you can this face folds in, this one they basically fold up, and then create in this vertex, and this vertex. They all meet at the top, right? So ladies and gentlemen, your job today is simply recognize or identify which net represents which 3D shape. And I'm just gonna do a few of them just so you understand the kind of a thinking process of this. So the first example, I see this net and I'm noticing right away, I have all of them are squares, they all look the same. So right away, there's no triangles, right? So right away, I know I can eliminate it's not a pyramid, and it's a prism, right? So the prism have at least 2 parallel sides, and I'm seeing a whole bunch of parallel sides. So it is a prism. However, all sides are the same, so it's not really rectangular prism or triangular prism, right? Right away, no triangular prism. I don't see any triangles. So between cube and rectangular prism, I think it is a cube, right? Because in the cube, all sides are the same, all faces are the same. Moving on to the next one. Okay, right away, so I'm right here. I can see 4 triangles and 1 square. So right away, I know it's not a prism. I know it's not a cube. And I know it's not a prism. So it's either a square pyramid or a triangular pyramid. And what I'm looking at is the base. The base determines the name. Since it's a square, it's going to be a square pyramid, or we can also call it a rectangular pyramid. So again, it's not a triangular pyramid because this is not a triangle, it's a square. Okay, moving on to the next third shape. I'm seeing 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So right away, I'm noticing 2 triangles are parallel to each other. So I know it's not a cube, right? Because sides are not the same and we have triangles. Triangular prism, it can be. Rectangular prism, it cannot be, right? Because it's we have 2 triangles in here. And then triangular pyramid, it's not a pyramid because it has 2 triangles that are parallel to each other. So right away, this is not it. So what we left with is triangular prism, right? We have two bases that are triangles. So ladies and gentlemen, two bases that are triangles, and that is it. And the last shape I would like to talk to you about is this one, the last one. I'm noticing no triangles, right? So I can definitely eliminate triangular pyramid. It's not a cube because I have different sides. It's not a pyramid again, I said. So what's left? It is going to be rectangular prism. Rectangular prism because remember, opposite sides are the same. So these two are going to be the same, right? Then we're going to have this one and this one is the same. And finally, we have this one and this one. They're the same. And we fold them in and they're going to create a rectangular prism. I will post this worksheet, please, with answers. Please do the rest of them on your own. And I'll see you on Wednesday for labeling our nets. We're going to be learn how to label our nets. Thank you and have a great day.